Welcome. r/Fatpeoplestories. Hamplanet almost kills her dog with fatlogic. In college I often checked the lost and found pets of insert college town Facebook page just to make sure I kept my eyes peeled for lost pets while I was out and about. I see an unusual post from a woman trying to rehome her dog named Chardonnay. This is unusual because most people who can't take care of their dog just take them to the Humane Society animal shelter, as we live in a state where kill shelters are outlawed, so bringing your dog to the shelter would not be putting it in danger. I click on the post and read that this woman can no longer take care of Chardonnay due to her conditions, and because Chardonnay has health needs she can't afford. Post also says she can't take the dog to the Humane Society due to her conditions. Like okay. Dog is listed as a small Chihuahua mix who is calm and 6 years old, however there are no pictures. For the last few months I had been thinking about getting another small dog so my current pupper, Floyd, could have a companion. Intrigued I write to the women and set up a time to meet, thinking that I could help this dog get out of this situation and get a new companion. Boy was I in for a treat. The lady agreed to meet. I suggest meeting at the local dog park so that Floyd and Chardonnay can meet each other in neutral ground. Hamplanet refuses and says I must come to her house and that the backyard is fine for introductions. I arrive at her house and knock on the door. I hear it's unlocked bellow from inside. As soon as I open the door I'm met with the stench of moldy food, farts, bow, and dog crap. Whatever, I'll just get this over with. I walk into the living room and see a full-on Jupiter sitting on the couch, belly hanging over her legs and touching the ground. Jupiter is easily 500 lbs. No wonder this lady can't take care of her dog, I think to myself. Then I see this poor dog. Chardonnay is essentially a bowling ball with a face and toothpick legs. Her stomach is so round that it touches the floor. She has no neck whatsoever. I immediately feel so sorry for this dog and decide to take her, even if it means dropping her off at the Humane Society. Jupiter sees the shock on my face and says don't worry, she's a happy dog, she just has issues with her thyroid. That's why she weighs so much, insert eye roll. Jupiter then tells me how she can't afford the thyroid medication or any of that special dog food crap. I ask her when her last trip to the vet was, and Jupiter tells me that she hasn't been to the vet since she was a puppy. Me, well then how did you diagnose her thyroid condition? Jupiter, well I just had a feeling I have the same condition and she just kept putting on weight even though I wasn't feeding her much. Vetment.com confirmed for me. I decide to let that slide because whatever, I don't want her to get defensive and not let me take Chardonnay. But I keep probing a bit out of curiosity. Me, okay. What do you feed her? I'd like to keep her on the same dog food brand to avoid and stomach problems when I take her. Jupiter, oh she don't get no special dog food. I usually just buy her something whenever I go out to get food. She really likes Big Macs. Almaywood.jpg. Me, so she only eats fast food. Jupiter, yeah, or a plate of whatever I make. She really likes fried chicken. Me, and you did this even after you thought she had a thyroid condition? Jupiter, well I figured if she's gonna gain weight anyway she might as well be happy and eat the good stuff instead of nasty kibble. Fasipum.pdf. Me, okay well what's her energy level like? Jupiter goes on long-winded explanation about how she adopted the dog 5 years ago, probs when she was still mobile, in an attempt to make her walk more and get exercise. But after the dog gained weight due to her conditions, Jupiter noticed that the dog hated walking as much as she did, projection much, so she stopped walking her. Describes the dog as very low energy and low maintenance. Told me she hates playing, doesn't like toys, doesn't like to play with other dogs, and that Jupiter keeps her locked in a crate for most of the day, except letting her out to go potty in the corner. Now, at this point I was getting irritated. This lady clearly took in Chardonnay only for personal gain, disregarded the health needs of the dog, never took her to the vet, and never even tried to address the dog's weight issue. I decided to take Chardonnay in, as I just couldn't leave her in those conditions. As I was leaving, I looked at the woman and just couldn't hold my tongue. Me, for the sake of all animals, please never adopt another dog. No animals deserves to live like this, and your treatment of this dog is borderline neglect. Jupiter starts yelling about how it's not her fault the dog ended up like this, how I'm fat shaming her, and how she is perfectly capable of taking care of a dog. Jupiter, this is the reason I didn't want to take her to the Humane Society. I didn't want to be fat shamed by skinny bitches like you. Prior to my comment, she was totally fine with me taking Chardonnay. She gave me all the paperwork etc. But now is yelling about calling the police for stealing her animal. I turn around and say call them. I'm sure they'd like to hear about the conditions you have her in. I'll be going straight to the vet for a health check on Chardonnay, and I'm sure the vet would love to be a witness in any possible neglect case. I left the garbage cave with Chardonnay, the look on her face pure joy as she romped slowly through the grass outside to my car. I immediately took her to the vet. Vet estimated that given her height/length, Chardonnay should weigh 12 lbs. This dog was 35 lbs. Did all the tests. No thyroid condition. But she was diabetic and was losing sight due to her diabetes. Also, she was going to need dental surgery because over half her teeth had rotted due to only eating sugary soft human food for most of her life. Sadly, dental surgery needed to wait until she lost some lbs as it requires anesthesia, and the vet was scared to do it on such an obese pupper. Vet said this was one of the most unhealthy dogs she had ever seen in her career, and likely would have died within a year if I had not taken her. I never heard from the police, although I did report the woman to the local Humane Society in case she attempted to get another animal. Fast forward 1 year, after a long year of diet and exercise, Chardonnay, now named Pink, to match my dog named Floyd, weighs a healthy 15 pounds, is no longer diabetic, has normal heart rate and blood pressure. She was able to get her rotten teeth removed safely. After her last vet apt, her vet legit cried because she wasn't sure Pink was going to make it. As she started losing weight, I could see her personality come out more and more. As Jupiter said, she didn't like playing with toys, going for walks, or playing with other dogs. But as the lbs came off, she started to love doing all of these things. She can now crush a 10-mile hike like a golden retriever, and she loves to swim. She is the happiest little nugget and I love her to death. She still begs for food whenever I eat, but I've managed to train her so that she will stare longingly from across the room instead of right in your face. She will always be a little chunky because of the extra skin and few extra lbs that just won't come off, but I think I'll have her for at least another 8 years. TL, Dr. Jupiter-sized woman almost killed her dog by making it morbidly obese, claimed the dog had a thyroid condition. I adopted the dog from her, and now Pink is a happy and healthy little chunk. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.